Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio from Boise, Idaho. This is your host, Adam Graham. In a moment, we're going to bring you this week's episodes of Charlie Chan, but I do want to encourage you, if you're enjoying the podcast, to please follow us using your favorite podcast software. I also want to encourage you to check out our other podcast, and I'm highlighting the Old Time Radio Snack Wagon. The Snack Wagon is a great podcast for snackable bits of old time radio. If you're driving somewhere, to a doctor's office, or taking a trip into the grocery store and want to experience some interesting aspect of the golden age of radio, you'll enjoy the Old Time Radio Snack Wagon. Each week we serve up a little sample size, whether it's from a complete short program or an excerpt of a longer program. It's a great little sampling from the golden age of radio. You can check it out at snackwagon.net or wherever you get your podcast. Now, from 1935 or 36, here is episodes 9 and 10 of the Landini murder case, the Premature corpse, and Too Many Suspects.
The most delightfully fascinating character in the realms of mystery, Charlie Chan. Charlie Chan is engaged in one of the most baffling murder mysteries of his long career. At Pine View, near beautiful Lake Tahoe, Landini, the noted opera singer, has been murdered. Of clues, there are none. Of motives, plenty. Ward, owner of Pine View, Ryder, Swan, and Romano, all at various times married to Landini, hated her. Leslie Beaton, too, hated Landini because the singer had attached herself to Leslie's brother, Hugh, a promising young singer. The greatest advance made in arriving at a solution is the discovery that the shot heard by all was not the shot which killed Landini. And while the doctor is examining the body, Chan and Sheriff Holt are in a bedroom discussing their discovery.
I deeply regret to say, Sheriff, that our investigations to this moment are about equivalent to opening of empty sack.
But, Inspector, don't you think we might be jumping to conclusions?
No, my young friend. We have been jumping to conclusions. Now we are finished. From now on, we become scientific. Much as I dislike terms.
You're absolutely satisfied that the shot they and you heard is not the shot that killed Landini?
Even the certainty that at the end of road we shall lie with the bones of our forefathers is not more certain. Observe, Miss Beaton is sitting in Mr. Ward's room. Shot is drowned by noise of Landini's playing over house. Murderer leaves study by balcony door, locks same behind him or her, and makes escape by room formerly used by Madame Landini.
But, Inspector, he couldn't.
Or she. Do not dismiss possibility of she.
All right. He or she couldn't do that without being seen by Leslie. Miss Beaton, as she left Mr. Ward's room.
Precisely.
So that Leslie...
You must either accept my theory that at time shot was heard, Landini was already dead, or else accept fact that Miss Beaton either is murderous or lies.
And I can't believe that girl would do either.
Permit me to say, my young friend, that in this case, I am fully prepared to eliminate my own number one rule. I do not believe that she did.
Doggone it, Inspector. You can't know how good it makes me feel to hear you say that.
But I do. I am fully understanding of rapid growth of affection on your part for a lovely lady. It would cause me much suffering and pain to be placed in distasteful position of having to arrest Miss Beaton or Ah Sing. When person like Ah Sing has served honorably and long, family like Mr. Ward, placing of handcuffs on same is heartbreaking duty.
Yeah, I know how you feel, Inspector. Dad's told me more than once about some arrest he's made.
However, our problem is more than that. Do not forget that if we do not solve mystery, other police will come. And if findings are same as ours, which is necessarily so, then Miss Beaton's arrest is inevitable result.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about that, and it worries me.
So you see, we have double incentive to solve murder. First, to catch criminal. Second, to do so rapidly to save Miss Beaton torture of arrest and possible trial.
One thing sticks in my mind, Inspector.
Yes.
No one heard a cry, no quarrel, no sound of a scuffle. Now, Landini must have been killed almost without her having known it.
You are forgetting Madame Landini was shot from in front. Could not possibly have been killed without seeing murderer. No, I humbly submit different idea.
Shoot, I'm listening.
Mr. Ward insists that Madame Landini could not possibly be in fear of bodily harm. Assume, if you please, that is so. Then murderer, being totally unsuspected by victim, could approach quite closely, and murder would be committed without outcry, words, or struggle.
Yeah, that's true, all right.
Unfortunately, yes. Face a false friend will not betray innermost workings of heart any more than inexperienced eye of novice can detect the brass beneath the gold.
But there's one thing not accounted for in your theory.
There are probably many things not accounted for in my theory. One of them brought to light will indeed be welcome assistance.
Well, if, as you say, Madame Landini would not be likely to suspect the murderer, how come the murderer was able to use Landini's own gun?
How did the murderer use Landini's own gun? Sheriff, you have administered to this blundering Honolulu detective well-deserved reproof. In the words of a young son, of which I have many, one at present attending University of Hawaii, he would say, "You have said mouthful." Come, the doctor. He should have finished examination of body by now. We will go to study and investigate that statement you have just made, which is somewhat in nature of proverbial bombshell. There is our host, Mr. Ward. You were looking for us, Mr. Ward?
Yes, I was. The doctor has finished his examination. He asked if he could talk to you.
We were on the way to study at this precise moment.
Tell me, Inspector, are you any nearer a solution?
So sorry, Mr. Ward, but if truth were known, we are farther from solution.
I'm afraid I don't quite understand you.
In privacy of study, I shall explain. I note Cecile are sing in passage. Better for a moment that this remain our secret.
Oh, hello there, Doc. Finished?
Yes. Do come in, please. Well, I've made an examination, although the coroner will, of course, want to make another. Poor Landini. I knew her as a young bride in this house, and she comes back to it to die. Oh, well. The bullet gentleman entered about 4 inches below the shoulder and pursued a downward course. Perhaps the person who fired stood over her. Perhaps she was on her knees.
On her knees. But what on earth would Ellen be doing on her knees?
The answer to that question, Mr. Ward, or any other array of puzzling questions might be solution we so ardently seek. Tell me, Doctor, was death, in your opinion, instantaneous, or could lady have taken a step or two after being wounded?
Well, I can tell you that better after we've probed for the bullet. All I can say is there is a chance that she did move after the shot.
I understand, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Goodbye, Doc. See you later.
Yes, Don. Bye, Mr. Ward.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Mr. Ward, we, Sheriff and I, have made somewhat significant discovery.
Yes?
Shot which we heard is not shot which killed Madame Landini.
What?
Sorry, but that seems to be case. Must now revise our findings.
But I fail to grasp the situation. If the shot we
That
heard...
shot, Mr. Ward, was fired to mislead everyone as to the time the murder was committed.
Precisely. Now we find ourselves in position of having to question everybody as to activities previous to sound of shot. Be so good as to ask Miss Beaton, also Cecile, to step into study.
Certainly.
Observe, if you please, Mr. Holt, any hesitancy of either Miss Beaton or Cecile in answering very simple questions that I shall ask.
I'll watch, Inspector.
We are dealing with very short interval of time. Time taken by me, in fact, to walk from this room to Mr. Ryder's room, and until arrival of plane, possibly 4 minutes, not more. Come in, please.
Miss Beaton and Cecile.
Cecile, Madame Landini sent you for a blanket for a little dog trouble. You went to backstairs, past Mr. Ward. How long before you heard shot?
Monsieur Inspector, let me think. Perhaps, maybe, but yes, 5 minutes, perhaps.
It took you 5 minutes to go from here? Oh, surely not.
No, monsieur, I stood on the back stairs listening to my husband make fool of himself in that plane. He, what you call, make big show for Landini.
Miss Beaton, did you see Cecile pass the door to the room in which you were seated before a mirror?
Yes, Mr. Chan.
She did not return?
I did not see her.
Miss Beaton, answer this question, please, very carefully. Did you see anyone else pass the door to that room immediately previous to hearing of shot?
Must I answer that, Inspector?
I'm sorry, Miss Beaton, but you must.
Monsieur,
Yes, Cecile.
Nothing, Monsieur Inspector.
Miss Beaton?
Yes, Inspector. I did see someone leave the room.
Before or after Cecile?
Afterwards.
Who? If I may press the question.
Mr. Ward.
Oh, you must be mistaken, Miss Beaton. I left before Cecile. Mr. Chan himself knows that.
Please, Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Inspector. I had not finished. I saw Mr. Ward, Mr. Romano, and Dr. Swan all leave the room after Cecile.
Thank you so much.
Well, that certainly is a revelation. But can pretty Leslie Beaton be mistaken in the time? We know that Mr. Ward left the room before Cecile did. We'll have to leave it to Inspector Chan as to whether Leslie Beaton's statement confuses or clears the issue in doubt. After you have heard from your sponsor, Inspector Chan will be with us again. Mr. Chan, we all admire your ability to pick the apt Chinese phrase to suit the occasion. What do you have for us tonight?
Mr. Wilson, I've been thinking about Miss Beaton's remark, and when I am ready to question same, I will be thinking of ancient Chinese advice.
Yes?
Advice has it that there are 3 things the wise man does not do. He does not plow the sky, he does not paint pictures on the water, and he does not argue with the woman.
Good advice, that indeed, Inspector Chan. Thank you, and good night. The most delightfully fascinating character in the realms of mystery, Charlie Chan. At Dudley Ward's home, Pine View, at Lake Tahoe, Charlie Chan is engaged in trying to find the person who murdered Landini, the opera singer. Suspicion points with equal force to Ward, Romano, Swan, and Ryder, all at one time or another married to Landini. Leslie Beaton, too, falls under suspicion because of her intense dislike of Landini, who had been engaged to Hugh Beaton. Leslie Beaton is being questioned by Inspector Chan and Don Holt, the sheriff, when she makes the statement that immediately previous to hearing the shot, she saw Mr. Ward, Mr. Romano, and Mr. Swan all leave the study.
Sit down, Miss Beaton, please.
Yes, here in this chair.
Thank you.
Your statement, Miss Beaton, if I may say so without reflection on your veracity, is most extraordinary. You say that immediately previous to firing of shot, you saw Mr. Ward, Mr. Romano, and Dr. Swan all leave study.
That's correct, Inspector Chan.
Then, if you remember, in what order? Who was first?
Oh, please, Inspector. Must I answer these questions?
So sorry, but we, Sheriff and I, must insist.
Half a minute, Inspector. Tell me, Miss Beaton, what's the trouble? I know you're upset. That's natural. But now you look frightened. Don't you think so, Chan?
Indeed, I do. If little lady feels like confiding in us, I'm sure that what she says will be held in confidence, always provided it does not materially alter case.
You're right. I am afraid. Dreadfully afraid.
Of what, dear lady? Afraid of what?
You ask me that. Here we are, living in this gloomy house, virtually locked up. Until a few minutes ago, a body lying in this very room. Somewhere in this same house, a murderer. One of us. A killer who killed for no reason that you've been able to discover.
But, my dear, Leslie, Miss Beaton, you really don't want to feel this way.
I can't help it. I can't rest. I was in the next room, remember that. And the murderer, whoever he is, knows that. I must have seen the murderer leave. And the murderer knows that, too. You, both of you, have me here questioning me. The murderer knows that. If he thinks for a moment that I have disclosed anything that will lead to his discovery, do you think that he'll spare me? No, he won't. He'll kill me as he killed Landini. And you both know it.
So sorry, Miss Beaton, that you should have endured this mental anguish. Must plead guilty to not having thought of your extremely dangerous position. I fear that you have justification for your alarm.
You're doggone right she has, Inspector. The fellow who killed Landini won't draw the line at killing anyone who is likely to know too much.
And don't forget, my scarf in the dead woman's hands, my brooch beside her body. I don't want to be unjust, but I can't help but feel that someone put them there to implicate me.
You have every justification for these thoughts, Miss Beaton. Will you listen to suggestion from me, proffered in all humility?
Certainly, Mr. Chan.
It is no false truth to say that solitude is good for the soul. Placidity is offspring of solitude, and I humbly suggest that you retire to your own rooms, perhaps to read. I have some books, and they are yours, and you are welcome.
Both of you are so kind.
Even policeman underneath gold badge has heart which speaks. Do as I suggest. Sheriff will gladly accompany you to your room while I question Ah Sing, who is listening outside door.
What's that?
Yes, Ah Sing. Send him in, please, while you take little lady to room.
Thank you, Mr. Chan, for being so understanding.
That, Miss Beaton, is my pleasure. Well, Ah Sing, what were you doing?
Maybe minding my own business.
Listen to me. This is murder case. You answer question number 1 time, or sheriff lock you in big jail.
Danny Horty, him lock me up? Him all the same a little boy.
Little boy represent law. You understand? Tangi assassin đó. This is very serious, I think. You understand? You last person to see Madame Landini alive?
No, me understand. No can help.
Sing, you are holding something back. Not telling all you know.
Oh, you're all the same crazy. Me telling you everything.
Sing.
Uh-huh.
I want you to see these 2 cigarette boxes. The one...
me look and see.
They've been changed. Lids are on proper boxes.
Sure. Me change it. Me find them.
You were told to leave things as they were.
Oh, I suppose if you no like it, me change it back.
No, Sing. There's no need now. That is all. Please send Mr. Ryder to see me. And, Sheriff, if you will be so kind.
Yeah.
So, Ah Sing, he changed lids on box. What is matter that I cannot grasp? What is that something which my friend Inspector Duff of Scotland Yard would call essential clue? Where is missing link? What is meaning of pink scarf in dead woman's hand? What is meaning of red lid on yellow box? Oh, come in, Sheriff. You find me talking to self, searching for a reason of failure.
We've got to get this thing cleared up. For her, for Miss Beaton's sake. And for both our reputations.
Reputation is not even secondary consideration. Wise man makes difficulty to be overcome first business. Success is only following consideration. Did you meet Ah Sing?
No, why?
Observe, if you please, cigarette boxes.
Lid's back on the proper boxes.
Yes. Ah Sing blandly admits he made change.
And for what reason?
I did not press for answer. It would be useless to question Ah Sing in present mood. Ah Sing is lying. Alas, too many people besides murder are lying.
You mean someone is trying to cover up? Trying to help the murderer?
Impossible at present moment to say. Possibly that someone thinks someone else murderer.
I get you. Young Beaton thinking his sister did it. Leslie, Miss Beaton thinking her brother did it. Swan trying to throw the blame on Miss Beaton. And then Cecile hating Landini because she was making up to her husband. Cecile has as good a motive as any of the others.
That, my dear Sheriff, we do not know. We are only guessing, which, as I said, is expensive habit. So far, nothing connects Cecile with murder, and yet, as you say, she is possible selection. Note, if you please, peculiar situation. Perhaps not peculiar to you, but to me. Up to this moment, unheard of, 5 people not accounted for time of murder, and of 5, no one offers alibi.
By the way, we didn't ask Miss Beaton about the order in which we saw Ward, Romano, and Swan leave the study.
It is immaterial at this moment. So far, we have failed to approach any more closely murderer.
Yes, I agree.
But person who fired misleading shot, what of him or her?
I see what you mean. The person who fired that second shot is also the murderer.
Either the murderer or the accomplice.
Accomplice. I hadn't thought of that.
I am thinking of saying that secret shared by 2 people is no longer secret. Perhaps while we may face possibility of matching our minds against 2 brains instead of 1, we also have on our side greater opportunity to observe differences in stories. Be pleased to come in. Oh, Mr. Ryder.
Yes, Chan. Another inquisition, I suppose.
Inquisition is a very harsh word, Mr. Ryder.
No more harsh than your high-handed treatment in keeping us here. Me, for instance. You were with me when the shot was heard. I couldn't possibly be guilty.
Quite so, Mr. Ryder. And being so certain that blame cannot attach itself to you, why do you continue in disagreeable manner to refuse to benefit us with your assistance?
I'm no stool pigeon. Let the police find their own criminals.
I have, to a certain extent in past, overlooked your attitude, Mr. Ryder.
Naturally, since you were with me when the crime was committed, and so you couldn't possibly browbeat me into any semblance of fear.
So sorry, Mr. Ryder, that you placed that interpretation on my efforts, solving brutal murder. But now, situation has changed. You have no more alibi than anyone else.
What? What's that?
Since you so much desire to always have things said by properly constituted authorities, I will ask Mr. Sheriff to explain.
You see, Mr. Ryder, the shot we heard didn't kill Landini.
No? I suppose there was more than one shot.
There was. Landini was already dead when the shot you heard was fired. She was killed possibly 4 minutes before you heard the shot.
And she was killed very probably standing on balcony outside window. You were looking out other window at time of approach of aeroplane, noise of which covered up shot. Who did you see?
I refuse to say.
But you admit that you saw someone?
I admit nothing.
Mr. Ryder, if you persist in this attitude, I'm sorry, but I'll have to arrest you.
Very well. If you will have it, you will. I saw...
Yes, Mr. Ryder. We are waiting.
I saw Miss Beaton.
Again, suspicion is directed against pretty Leslie Beaton. But from the look on Don Holt's face, we gather that he believes that it is only Ryder's effort to divert suspicion from himself. After you have listened to your sponsor's message, Inspector Chan will be with us again with another of his quaint philosophical sayings. Mr. Chan, you said something about success being only secondary to the difficulty to be overcome. Can you enlarge upon that?
Delighted, Mr. Wilson. Luck and opportunity alone are not the foundation of success. Success is child born of hard work and comes to man who works calmly and well and knows for what he is working.
Thank you, Inspector Chan, and good night.
It has been an honor, Mr. Wilson. Good night.
Welcome back. I have to give this to Ah Sing. It takes nerve to be listening at the door and respond to questioning about your actions with minding my own business. By definition, you're not. Overall, I think the series is doing a good job of going through that investigative process and really getting a feel for the witnesses. A lot of mysteries don't spend a whole lot of time on it, but certainly the serial format gives it the space it needs to develop. Now, it should be noted that on various websites where you'll find these episodes, there are dates attached, but there's just no reason to believe them to be correct. The assumption of those dates is that this serial was airing weekly, and at the pace of this story, I don't think that would work. I found another website saying that these were aired daily, suggesting lost episodes in between the ones we have, but that doesn't appear to be the case either. I did find, reviewing newspapers, an announcement for the series to air 3 times a week. Now, in terms of dating the series, actually after last week, I was able to narrow it down just a little bit. I found an Australian newspaper listing for the Landini murder case, and this was before the time when Australia tamped down and required that radio serials being broadcast in Australia had to be made using Australian actors. At a later point, what would have happened would have been that an Australian syndicator would have purchased the scripts and re-recorded them with Australian actors. That was not happening in 1936. If you were an American radio syndication company, why not sell the same story in Australia? That happened with the Airmail mystery as well as its sequel series. The serial actually concluded airing in Australia in 1936. In June, there's not really a way to say when it started in the United States, but it's safe to say that it would have been airing in the U.S. at the same time or earlier than it was in Australia. So, now, one other note, I want to talk a little bit about the actor who plays Charlie Chan, Walter Connolly. Connolly was one of those actors who spent most of his acting career on stage before making a mark in Hollywood. His career in films only lasted 7 years, but he left a definite impression. His most well-known role was as the father of Claudette Colbert's character in the classic screwball comedy It Happened One Night. If you watch that film, you have an idea of a lot of the sort of roles that Connolly did. Though Connolly did also play other parts. He was in an adaptation of Huckleberry Finn. He also played a couple of detectives. He was in the very first Father Brown movie in the lead in Father Brown Detective in 1934, and he also took over the role from Edward Arnold of Nero Wolfe in League of Frightened Men. And he had played Father Brown before he played Charlie Chan, so who knows, that might have actually factored into him getting the part of Inspector Chan. Well, now it's time to thank our Patreon supporter of the day, and I want to go ahead and thank Sheila. Sheila's been one of our Patreon supporters since February 2020, currently supporting the podcast at the Detective Sergeant level of $7.14 or more per month. Thank you so much for your support, Sheila, and that will do it for today. If you're enjoying the podcast, do follow us using your favorite podcast software. And If you're enjoying the podcast on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and mark the notification bell. We'll be back next Tuesday with another installment in this Charlie Chan serial. But join us back here tomorrow for Broadway's My Beat, where...
I release her.
See? He did it again, Mr. Clover. He's been doing that for an hour or so, and she won't come out of it. Some of the bears who've been studying hypnotism tried it, too, but still she won't come out of it.
Because she is not hypnotized. She is dead. Any fool can see that. Did you not see it, too? You, from the police?
Yeah, I'd say poisoned. The color of her lips, the blue tinge. Wait. Her eyes, I'd say poisoned. Wouldn't you, Marvin?
How the girl dies is beyond my realm.
Who is she?
Huh? Oh, I have her name here on my list. Just a moment, please. Here it is. This one is Jane Arnold. Check, Jane Arnold. The other entertainers were...
Give me that list, Mr. Rover.
Oh, of course.
How long have you been working with the girl, Marvin?
2 years, maybe 3.
You knew her well, then?
Only as a girl I hired to give femininity to my act. I only knew her well enough to call her on the telephone and tell her I had a job for her.
Someone wanted her dead. Who would that be?
Beyond my realm.
One moment, please. I'm thinking.
Huh?
I'm thinking. I've got it.
What?
The murderer.
Tell me, too, Mr. Rover.
You say she was...
I hope you'll be with us then. In the meantime, send your comments to box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and check us out on Instagram. Instagram.com/greatdetectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.